Hello everyone, this is Professor Valdez Gant. I'm recording this video for anyone who is taking one of my Math 1342 Elementary Statistics courses online at Tarrant County College. The purpose of this video is to serve as an orientation for how the course is run and some of the things you should expect. One of the main things that I want to do here is kind of highlight some of the things that you'll need to look at regularly in the course, as well as how do you actually access the assignments. So the first thing that I want to mention will be the announcements. So I'm not going to read through all the announcements, but I do want to say that you want to check these at least twice a week for any messages that I may send you. Of course, the first one that you see here is this announcement here. Now, if you notice, this is a course ID. Depending upon what semester this is, this will probably not be your course ID. I'm recording this video as of fall 2018, so the course ID that you may see will probably be different. So, but the main thing here is to make sure that you do have that course ID because you will need that information. And to know what textbook you will be using as well, as this may change as well. So moving forward here, I will always have dates as far as when you need to take your midterm and final exams, and you'll see that here. And I'll always have another announcement under that giving you a summary of the due dates for the entire semester. So if you want to know when something's due, you can always look at the announcements area and look at that. And that's one of the reasons why I'm saying that you want to check your announcements at least twice a week for that reason. I also have discussion boards in this course, and depending upon the semester that you're in, these dates may be different, but the important thing to know is that there are due dates that are required for you to meet. And the point of the discussion board is to make sure that, of course, you're actively participating in the course and doing assignments where you're interacting with your peers. So, and that's a part of what I have to grade. So you want to pay attention to this particular announcement here. Some of the other announcements is just how we actually go through and purchase the textbook, any other information on stuff like Statcrunch, to get your browser working, that sort of thing. So, and if we have like any maintenance things going on with Pearson, because that's the product that we'll use to get you the assignments and whatnot, I'll post those things as soon as I know about them. So in here is my contact information. In this particular link here, and of course depending upon what semester it is, the times number may be different, but pretty much you know how to get in contact with me. I'm very responsive on text, very responsive on email as well. If you need to get at me really fast, you probably want to text me. If you want to call me, that's fine too, but depending upon if I'm in a face-to-face class or not, I may not be able to answer your call and get to you right away. The next thing I want to mention is the Start Here folder. So the Start Here folder is very important because it has some info in it that you need to know. The video that you're watching right now is this video that is right here, and you want to make sure that you watch that first. I normally have a student profile survey in my courses to kind of collect a little information about you, and whatever date this says, you need to have that done by that time, okay? Because it's part of what I am requiring you to do to be able to be certified in this course. And of course, here we have the overview of our Blackboard classroom and Mystatlab classroom. Not much on it, but just basically saying that, hey, we have two different platforms. And since I have paired our Mystatlab course with Blackboard, you only have to sign into Blackboard to access everything. All right, so next is the ICR Syllabus and Calendar folder. First, you'll see the district syllabus. This is just a generic syllabus that goes across all the colleges in the district. The one that you need to pay attention to is the ICR, which that's the personalized syllabus that has all the information that you need in it. And you need to make sure that you read that very carefully and ask questions about it. Okay. The next thing will be the course calendar that's here. And of course, the last thing, which is how to get registered in Mystatlab. And of course, this particular link here will go to a document that will take you through the process of actually getting yourself registered. But the main thing is that you have to go through Blackboard to get to Mystatlab, since I have everything paired together. And part of the reason for that is that in this course, we're using Proctorio as a remote proctoring service. And in order to have all this stuff work with Mystatlab or Mymathlab or whatever, we have to pair the courses here. So that's the reason why we need to have basically a single sign-on for Blackboard to get you into your Mystatlab. All right, so moving forward here, you want to go ahead and do the bio sign, because at times you may be required to do bio sign on some assignments in this course. This link is just for the basic materials of the course. Most of that you've already seen already, but the main thing here is to make sure that whatever textbook and whatever computer requirements that Mymathlab or Mystatlab requires, make sure that your computer meets that. So when we go to this link, the Mystatlab link, this will be the link where your assignments will be made. And so what I'm going to do here is go into student mode so you can see what it kind of looks like from a student standpoint, because right now I'm still having an instructor mode. So I'm going to pause right quick, go into student mode, and then you'll be able to see what it looks like when you will be looking at it. All right, so in student mode, if I come and click on the same link here, you'll see that you'll have Mystatlab all assignments, Mystatlab course home, and Pearson announcements. Down here are your support tools. The only thing that you'll really need down here, unless you have some troubleshooting issues, will be your Mystatlab browser check. And I do recommend that everyone do a browser check just to make sure that your browser meets the requirements. A lot of times when people first start using Mymathlab or Mystatlab, the issue comes in with having certain cookies installed and clearing your cache and all that stuff. So doing a browser check helps to get those issues ironed out before you even begin. Now, in saying that, when you go through the initial registration process, it's going to tell you to click on either the tools area or whatever content area that it tells you to get to Pearson, MyLab, and Mastering. So in this course, that will either be the Mystatlab MSL link, or what you could do is you can come down here to the tools area and you'll see similar thing. And so I tried to keep it similar here. So if you go here, then you'll have to click on Pearson, MyLab, and Mastering, and you'll get right here. So what I did is I just created a folder to get you directly to where you needed to be without having to do 2 clicks. You just do 1, okay? Regardless, once you click on one of these, when you first go through your when you first access the course, you're going to have to go through a registration process and whatnot to get this working. And so I've tried to go ahead and already do this so that my assignments will pop up. Hopefully it will. Okay. All right, so once you're done with that registration process, this is what it's going to look like. And so all of your assignments are lined up from beginning to end. You'll see that you have videos for most sections. And so the only other thing I wanted to say here is that let's say if you want to just look at your homework, then you can click this drop down menu and just look at your homework, which your videos are a part of that. And if you wanted to get to just your quizzes and tests, that'll be part of that. And if you notice here, you'll notice that for here, and this shouldn't be this way. I'll have to fix that. But for here, you see how your midterm and final exams, they're only one attempt. They're 300 minutes, which is 5 hours, but they are remotely proctored. And that's where the proctorial part comes into play. And so when we get to the portion of this orientation where we need to talk about, well, how do you set up proctorial and all that information, you'll see where that is. And just wanting you to know that you won't be able to take this exam unless you have proctorial set up on your computer. And so one of the things that is required for proctorial is to have Google Chrome installed on your computer. So it is a app that is an add-on for Google Chrome. So if you don't have Google Chrome, you're going to have to install it on your computer before you can take major exams in this course. Okay, so the only other thing I wanted to say right now as far as working in Mystatlab is I'm going to go to the homework here and just click on a random homework right quick. And I want to briefly talk about some of the tools that are available to you. So let's say you're reading this question, you have no idea how to do it. If you look here, you have some things that are available to you. You have help me solve this. Depending upon the question, you'll also have view an example, have animation, textbook, Statcrunch, and ask my instructor. And so I'm actually, what I'll do here is I'll save this. I'm going to go to another question that actually has everything. So I'll go into chapter 2. I should be able to have one that has everything here. So yeah, so this is kind of what you would see. Now, the main thing that I want to mention here is that would help me solve this and view an example. These are good ways to get help on a problem. Not so good of a way to try to learn a concept. Okay. Help me solve this does exactly what it says. It will help you solve a particular problem. However, when you do that, do you see how the red X shows up here? And so the purpose of that red X is to tell you that, hey, the system knows that you're getting help from the system to answer a particular question, but you need to be able to answer one on your own. So what this does is kind of interactively takes you through a process here of answering questions, small questions to be able to answer the big questions. And so once you're done with that process, whether you get things right or wrong or not, I'm just going to close this. You'll see how, in this case, the graph or the numbers slightly change. And so the system's still waiting on you to actually do a problem on your own. If we come here and look at view an example is a static version of what you would be looking at. It's just basically another example of the same problem that you have. Not the exact same problem, but it's similar enough to kind of get an idea of what's going on. Okay. So my point here is that whether you're using help me solve this or view an example, you don't want to abuse this. And students abuse it whenever they don't read a textbook, they don't watch any videos, they don't take any notes. All they do is just jump into the homework and then start saying, I don't know how to do that. Let me, see some steps to see what am I supposed to do. That works out just fine whenever we're talking about just trying to work on a particular problem to get an answer. Does not work really well whenever it's time to take an exam or a quiz, because you're basically following steps instead of retaining concepts and information. And I can tell, because if you do great on your homework but you bomb your test, then you're really abusing the view an example and help me solve this feature. And You really don't want to put yourself in that boat because especially for the midterm and final exams, those two tests alone are more than 50% of your grade. So it's highly unlikely that you're going to pass if you bomb both exams. So you want to spend the time to make sure that you're actually learning the material. And that's all I wanted to say about that. So we'll go ahead and move on from here. All right, so if we look here, we know that for the discussion boards, we have some etiquette that we have to follow. And so here's just my post on what it is that I expect as far as your behavior and your decorum online in the discussion boards. And this is the link to the discussion board area. And if you remember in the announcements, I had already mentioned here that your discussion boards are something that is a requirement in this course. And I want to make sure that everyone understands what I'm looking for. So simply put, for the discussion boards, I do want you to interact with your peers, but as far as the requirement, minimum requirements on what I'm grading on, what I'm needing you to do is to show me what you can do, okay? And so what I'm asking you to do is just post either one video or a few problems or do a host of questions that you're trying to get help on and problems that you know how to do to be able to get full credit for this discussion. So the main thing I want to talk about is these 3 bullet points here. So to me, the easiest way that you can get full credit for a discussion is to post at least 2 distinct questions. So that means as you're working through your homework, you're practicing, you notice that there's some homework problems that you have trouble with. There's some that you can do well. You can pick any 2 out of that you've written down, take a picture of it, upload it as a PDF file, and post it inside of the discussion board area for the unit that we are referring to. Okay. Simplest way to get full credit, because I mean you got to do homework problems anyway, got to do quiz problems anyway, so you might as well just use what it is that you're already doing and just post. The only thing that I ask is that once one person posts one question, do not post the same question. Okay, we don't want a bunch of people copying each other, and that's not the point. The point is to show what it is that you know, not how much you can copy your classmate. The second bullet point says to post at least 2 typed or handwritten solutions to questions not submitted by you on a discussion board for that. Okay, so actually that was the one I was just describing here. This first bullet point talks about, let's say you're working on a homework problem and you are having issues trying to figure out some concept of the problem. So basically you can't do the problem, or you've done part of it, but for whatever reason you can't figure out the whole entire problem because there's something that's not clicking with you. So if you have at least two such questions like that, then you can post those on the discussion board and in hopes of someone else sort of chiming in and answering those questions for you. Okay. If you do that, then of course I also need you to respond to questions from 2 other classmates that are doing the same thing. So in other words, you post 2 questions saying, hey, please help me. And if you're going to do that, then I also need you to answer 2 questions that other students have posted so that you can help them. So it's circular, okay? So if you want to go that route for the discussion, you can do that. Again, you can still post questions, answer students' questions as well, and on top of that, post 2 solutions of problems that you already know how to do. All I need is at least 1 of the 2 to be able to give you full credit. Okay. So naturally, if you're doing the discussion board right, you're going to be doing a little bit of all of this. You're going to be posting some questions, answering other people's questions, showing solutions for problems that you actually did know how to get right, or didn't know how to do, or let's say you have some trouble with it and you finally figured it out, you want to share with someone else and you want to post, you would naturally do those things in the discussion board. So all I'm saying is that for a particular unit, I need to either see two distinct questions that you've worked out and provide the solutions for, or I need to see that you have asked two questions of your classmates and you've answered two questions for at least two of your other classmates. So that's these first two bullet points. The third one is saying, instead of doing at least two typed to handwritten solutions and you upload them, you just do a video of one problem. And of course, there's extra complication that goes in trying to record yourself and upload it and all this good stuff. So that's why I just require one video versus two handwritten or posted solutions. Okay. And with the videos, I highly recommend that you do not try to upload the actual video itself on the Blackboard. That will take a while. I recommend that you get like a YouTube page or something wherever you record your videos at and you upload them. Just do that. So all you have to do is post a link, and the link can take students to the video so they can see what it is that you're doing. And so that's what I wanted to talk about with the discussion board area, to make sure that that was clear, because I know for some reason or another, the discussion board area is a source of confusion for some students. All right, so with that being said, the next thing that I want to do is make sure that you know what this particular folder is here, which is the quiz and exam written work folder. Now, in this folder, the purpose of it is for you to really upload all of your written work for each quiz as well as each exam. What I have done in here is I've actually put links into this particular folder from your Mystatlab to be able to access your quiz and your exams quickly as well. So it's kind of convenient for you to just go in there and say, hey, I need to take a quiz. You can just go click on here and you'll be directly at your quiz. And then once you're done, you can come here, click on this after you've went ahead and taken pictures or scanned your written work, and you put it all as one single PDF file and upload it. You'll be uploading it right here. And of course, this is for all the quizzes, and this is another place where you can go and access your midterm exam. Of course, you'll still be using Proctorio if you access it this way, but this is just another quick way to be able to access it. And of course, here you'll still be uploading your midterm exam artifacts, which is just a fancy way of saying written work. So you'll see that you got it for all your quizzes and also your final exam as well. So that's what this folder is for. The table, resources, and notes folder is just sort of a hodgepodge of notes and resources that I have available. So here I try to organize those a little more inside of the units area, but this is sort of the place where I'm pulling most things, not all things, from this course, and you may find that this is useful to you. So for Unit 1, for each unit, of course, I have a folder for lecture notes and other resources that I have. If you want to click on Mystatlab and go there directly, you can get there by this link as well. Here for quiz 1 and for quiz 2, this is just a link saying that, hey, I want to upload my written work for quiz 1 and quiz 2. This is just a link to where you were here, okay? And of course, each unit is like that, where it has its own resources. And I'll take you to a good example of what it will be like. So let's say for Unit 3, if you come here, You'll see that for Unit 3, I have some examples of problems I've done for other students, as well as some videos I've done as well. And so I also have some other posts here trying to describe some basic concepts that we go over. As you can see here, I also have some lecture notes for some of the concepts that we cover in this course. So again, a lot of information. Please make sure that if you're stuck on a problem, that you take the time to look at the lecture notes and resources that I have first before you go search here, there, and everywhere online for extra help. I've done a lot to try to, make this as easy as I can as far as having resources available to you, readily available. And the two places I think you should look first is, of course, what the actual Mystatlab textbook and the whole Pearson setup, what that allows you to have access to, as well as what I have inside of here in Blackboard. All right, so with that being said, I want to go ahead and click on this midterm exam info. And so, again, I know we've been talking about Proctorio. If you click on this link here, it will take you to a web page that will have videos on it and instructions on how to get everything set up. Okay. Your midterm exam dates will be posted here. Again, I'm recording this in fall 2018, so these dates are probably different depending upon when you're looking at this and what semester you're in. But the dates for your particular semester will be posted here. If they are not, or if they're out of date or whatever, please let me know. I may have forgotten to update them. Okay. Here for each major exam, I have a review. And so here's the review for your midterm exam. Please make sure that you look at this, okay? In addition to the midterm exam review I have here, there is also a practice midterm exam that you have inside of Mystatlab. So if we go back here to Mystatlab and we look at all assignments in the course, we'll go ahead and leave this because I forgot I had this up. So we'll wait on that. Once we get back to our assignment page, what we'll do is see that you actually have a practice exam that you can work on. And I recommend that you work on that as well. All right, this is taking a while, so we'll just close it. We'll try it this way. All right, so we're here now. And of course, if we just go to quizzes and tests, you'll see here we have a practice midterm, also have a practice final. So if you work through the practice midterm and practice final a few times, as well as look at what I've done when I've worked out through the practice midterm and the practice final, you should have a very good idea of what's going to be on your midterm and final exam. Okay. In my opinion, the only people that do not pass the midterm and final exam are the people who don't work on the midterm and final exam practice stuff enough. Okay. Here, this also has information on what you need on exam day, as well as what is available to you. Of course, I have these formula sheets that are here, these tables that are here, and all this stuff is available for you to use while you're taking your exam. And of course, Statcrunch is an app by Pearson that allows you to do a lot of the statistical calculations here without necessarily needing a graphing calculator to do it. There is some training material on that inside of Pearson. So if you want to learn how to do that, then of course you can go to that particular material and start to pick up and learn it from there. All right, so with that being said, that's pretty much it as far as the orientation is concerned. Of course, here you can go here to check out what your grades are. Again, tools, we've seen this before. If we go to tools, that is a way for you to get to the Pearson MyLab and Mastering. And if you're interested in using Tutor 24/7 or tutor.com for help, of course, those links are there for you to do that as well. And so with that, that concludes the orientation for this course. I hope this has been informative. If you have any questions, please let me know. Take care.